Most traders will never be profitable. And I'm not saying this to discourage you or to stop anybody from trading. I'm saying this because I've been there. I know exactly why most traders fail because I did those things for years. And in this video, I'm going to break down the 3 things that hold most traders back, and I'm going to give you the exact fixes that I use in order to become profitable and stop making the same mistakes that you're currently making right now. And if you actually apply these things that I'm going to be talking about, then it'll save you years worth of headaches. The number one reason most traders fail is because they don't have a real system. Look, there's 100 different ways to trade. You can trade using trend lines, you can use support resistance, indicators, SMC, ICT, fundamentals, whatever you want to do, there's a way to trade it. But most traders don't stick with one system long enough to gain any kind of consistency or to know if it even works. They'll use a system for a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks. They'll have a couple of losses and think that the system doesn't work and go back to their way of emotional trading and take random trades that don't fit the system, and obviously those result in compounding losses. Think of it as if you're an athlete. If you play basketball but you're switching coaches every single week, you're switching training styles and the things that you're training every single week, and if you're switching positions every single week, you're not really going to have any consistency when it comes to actually playing basketball. You're not going to be a good shooter, you're not going to be a good dribbler, you're not going to know the ins and outs of plays that you need to run in order to be a successful basketball player. Trading is no different. In order to build any real skill, you have to pick one lane and master that in order to become good at it and then move forward. So if you know this is a problem for you, here's what I want you to do. Find one system that's been proven to be profitable. Learn it inside and out. Study it, backtest it, forward test it out over the course of 50 to 100 trades in order to understand how it actually works and how you're going to be able to make the system work for you. This is how you build confidence in your system. You let it play out over 100, 200, 300 trades, and once you've tested it enough, you're going to understand that if the system works in the long term, these small losses that pop up, or if you have a losing streak, it's not going to affect the long term and you're still going to be able to be profitable. The second reason most traders fail is because of risk. And this problem is super frustrating because of how our industry is and how these gurus have started marketing and talking about risk. I'm sure you've seen the videos of people flipping $100 accounts to $1 million accounts and talking about how they're risking 25, 30, 40% of their account per trade. And this just tricks struggling traders and beginner traders into thinking that trading and managing risk is just about doubling accounts and flexing cars and flexing these demo payouts. But here's the reality. Real traders aren't trying to turn $100 into $1 million. We're focusing on becoming consistent enough to be able to make 2 to 5% a month. That's it. That's all you need to become successful. After that, it just becomes a scaling thing. Whether you're trading your own personal capital or you're trading prop firms or you're trading private capital, then you just need to scale up your account in order to let that 2 to 5% number into dollar amounts grow higher. So if you're struggling with risk management right now, here's what I want you to do. Instead of thinking about your risk in dollar amounts, start thinking in percentages. You should only be risking 0.5% to 1% per trade. No more than that right now. Think about this. If you're risking 5% per trade and you just have 5 losses in a row, which is very possible, you've lost a quarter of your account. And now you're going to be struggling with your emotions and your mentality, and you're going to try to make that money back. But if you're only risking 1% and you have a solid risk reward ratio, let's say you have a 3 to 1 or a 4 to 1, you're going to be able to survive those losing streaks and you're not going to struggle mentally when you go into a little bit of drawdown. Remember, your job as a trader isn't to flip accounts and turn 100 into 1,000,000. It's about gaining small percentages per month so that you can have large amounts of capital do the work for you. And the third and biggest mistake that traders are making right now is that they have no accountability. They're not using a trade journal, and if you're not using a trade journal, you have no feedback coming to you. You're basically just trading blind. You really have no idea if your strategy is even working or what parts of your strategy is working and what's not. You have no feedback coming back to you to let you know what are your mistakes and what are the things that you're doing right. I want you to think about yourself as a professional athlete. Think about any professional athlete at the top of their game. Tom Brady, Kobe, Steph Curry, LeBron. Any other sport that you look at, whether it's golf, tennis, any other sport, they're reviewing their game tape. And every athlete at a top level is not only reviewing their own game tape, but their opponents as well. And why do you think they do this? It's not just because they want something to watch. It's because if you're not reviewing your performance, you don't understand what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, and what you need to fix and what you need to avoid. For us traders, journaling is our game tape. If you're not logging your trades in depth into a journal and you're not reviewing them later on, then you're not going to be able to catch your mistakes. You're not going to be able to see what's working well for you. You're not going to be able to see what mistakes you need to avoid in the future. And here's the biggest thing that a trading journal is going to be able to show you. Usually you're not going to be able to understand that it's not your system or your strategy that's broken, it's you. You might have a couple of losses and you think that your entries are wrong or you're entering too early, but in reality you might be exiting too early and not letting those trades play out. Or you might think that you need a new strategy because it isn't working, but in reality you're over trading after taking a couple of losses. Journaling is just going to expose every single thing about your trading to you. Once you've logged 50 to 100 trades, you're going to be able to see all the mistakes that you're making, and you're going to be able to understand how to fix those mistakes. And if these mistakes sound familiar, don't worry, I was on the same boat as you. My first year and a half to 2 years of trading was a complete waste of time. I was chasing strategies, I was risking way too much on my trades, I didn't journal anything, and even though I had some big wins during that time, I gave it all back because I had no system and I had no structure, and going through this process made me feel like I was never going to make it as a trader. It wasn't until I locked into one system, started managing my risk, and started journaling my trades that I started making any kind of progress. That was my turning point. That's when I started making some real progress instead of just going round and round in circles, doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results. And it took me almost 3 years to finally become profitable because I was just making the same mistakes over and over again. And I wasted so much time doing these wrong things. Looking back at it now, if I would have just known that I could fix these 3 things and how to do that, I would have saved myself years of frustration and a ton of losses. So that's why I said in the beginning of this video that most traders will never be profitable because they never focus on these 3 things. Now you know what to do. You need to lock into one system. You need to follow your risk management, and you need to be able to journal your trades. If you do these 3 things, you have a real shot of becoming profitable within the next 12 months. You're going to go from chasing wins to chasing consistency, and that is how you're going to become profitable. Drop a comment below this video and let me know which one of these 3 things or all 3 are you struggling with, and be honest, because I guarantee you other traders watching this video are struggling with the same thing. And who knows, maybe you guys can talk and help each other out.